Kai-hee thought about it and smiled bitterly. When the old lady was still alive, the four people searched carefully. There was no other way except the exit guarded by the puppet. That is the case, if they wanted to go out they could only pass through the round door. Unless they stay here and wait for the rescue of Feijitu, but this kind of thing is not a good thing. Whether Feijitu and others can find this place is another thing. If they stay here, and Feijitu can't find this place, then they will just wait and die waiting for help. Rather than doing so, it's better to take a risk, and if they are lucky, they may find some flaws and feasible ways to leave this place. Although there is little hope, it is better than waiting. Thinking of this, Kai-hee's expression was determined, and he nodded to Yang Kai. Brother Yang, I am with you. Although Kai is not very good at fighting with people, but there is still more strength than others. Yang Kai slowly shook his head and said, No, I just want to test its ability. I don't need Brother Kai to take a shot for the time being. After the test comes out, let's find a way to leave here together. That's fine, but Brother Yang, you must be careful. Kai-hee exclaimed nervously. Yang Kai focused on the head, holding 12 points of vigilance, and approaching the puppet. Kai-hee and Du Cece stood nervously and focused on the spot. Half an hour later, Yang Kai ran back in disgrace. This test was considered as a means to allow him to do his best to get out. However, with his strength far exceeding that of the same level of martial artist, fortunately, there was no big mistakes, and there was no big loss under the puppet, but only by a scratch of the other party's dark giant stick. Now half of his body is numb. Kai-hee and Du Cece saw it from the beginning to the end. When Yang Kai returned, their eyes could not help but become a lot of awe, because Yang Kai's various trials to get out were countered by the puppet many times. Both thought Yang Kai would die without doubt, but did not thought that he would find a trace of vitality and survive in that desperate situation every time. After watching for half an hour, the two looked even more tired than Yang Kai, who was actually in action. They felt that they were all years old, and there was sweat all over their palm. But from this, the two saw that Yang Kai was not a General Saint King stage martial artist. The various methods displayed were powerful and strange. Even the Void Return stage does not have such abilities. How could Kai-hee and Du Cece dare underestimate Yang? After returning, Yang Kai said nothing, took out a few healing pills, and meditated. After a full day, Yang Kai exhaled gently, opened his eyes sparkled with light, and it seemed to have recovered. Kai-hee and Du Cece, who had been waiting by the side, saw this and hurriedly came over and looked at him with the look of hope. Yang Kai didn't know what they were thinking, and didn't care, saying, There's a chance. After hearing the words, Kai-hee and Du Cece both gleamed in their eyes, and they both showed a hint of joy. Kai-hee sat cross-legged in front of Yang Kai and said anxiously, What should I do to get rid of this puppet, and also ask Brother Yang to give me pointers, and I and Cece will fully cooperate. Get rid of? Yang Kai smiled strangely. I can't get rid of it. When I tried it before, you also saw it. Although it is huge, it moves like the wind and the speed is very fast. If it's just me, one person, there is a chance to get rid of it, but you two, there is absolutely no possibility. This is not Yang Kai's underestimating them, but to be honest, because even Yang Kai's own strength is fully open, and then with the help of the acceleration of the wind and thunder wings, there is only a small chance to break through the puppet blockade. He was testing the ability of the other side before. At times, he tried to bypass it and rush to the round door, but each time he was forced back by the other party. This puppet seems to be extremely hostile to any living creatures who want to pass through the round door, and it will kill without amnesty. When Yang Kai said this, Du Cece's face changed, and immediately shouted, You can't leave us alone. She instinctively thought that Yang Kai meant to leave alone. Kai-hee laughed. Cece, you think too much, Brother Yang will not do this. This remark not only comforted Du Cece but also comforted himself, and quietly looked at the response of Yang Kai. He was also a little worried about Yang Kai meaning to do so. Yang Kai didn't make much excuses. To be honest, if he could really break the puppet blockade before, he had already left, but he didn't mean to leave them alone. If he could leave, he would look for Feijitu and others to come and rescue them. After all, one person being able to get out of trouble is better than 3 people who are trapped here with no hope of survival. Now listening to Kaihee's question, he doesn't mean to explain, but just said, if we want to leave now, we can only work together. Relying on my strength alone to deal with it and give protection is not enough. We're not its opponent. Kaihee nodded. What Brother Yang said just now is that you can't get rid of it. What should we do? I think it seems to have been staying at the exit all the time, and it won't go too far. Yang Kai also tried out this point before. Once he was near the 10-foot range of the exit, the puppet would immediately act, but if he left that range, it would become unresponsive like a dead object. Listening to Kaihee's question, Yang Kai smiled secretly. Naturally, kill it. Kill it. Kaihee dumbfounded. Du Cece is also straightforward. Are you stupid? Before finishing the sentence, she saw Yang Kai looking at her coldly. She couldn't help but suddenly swallowed the second half of her speech into her stomach. Her face was awkward, but her expression clearly felt that Yang Kai's proposal was unreliable. Since I say this, I naturally have some confidence. Yang Kai knew that he didn't have to say anything. It was impossible for the two to cooperate with him. The great puppet's great power, the scene of killing the old lady, had already left their heart with a shadow, and there was no courage to compete with it. Let's talk about its shortcomings first. This puppet guards the round door. No matter what secrets are hidden behind the round door, it is worth keeping it intact, but this is a place that can be used. Since the two are the formation law expert, you should know what to do without me saying more. Yang Kai glanced at them. Kaihee and Du Cece both tilted their heads slightly with a thoughtful look. This huge shortcoming of the puppet can give them enough time to arrange a large formation, and with the power of the formation method to cooperate with Yang Kai, maybe there is really a little chance. It's no problem to set up the formation array, and we can set up a large formation array that limits the speed of the other party. I see that this puppet is not intrusive but strong, but the most headache-inducing is its speed. If its speed can really be slowed down, its advantages will be greatly reduced. Kaihee touched his chin slowly. You guys can arrange such a formation? Yang Kai was overjoyed. It seems that Kaihee understand his intention. Puppets are different from living people. Some formations, although powerful, have no effect on it. Yang Kai originally wanted Kaihee and Du Cece to arrange a formation that would restrain the other party's speed. Unexpectedly, at this point, his plan coincided with Kaihee. It's no hard, I have a set of Lake Mirror Clay Dragon formation. Cece should have a Painting Earth Prison formation. Kaihee looked towards Du Cece. Du Cece nodded slightly. It was not surprising to know the details of the other party. After all, the Kai family and the Du family are all members of the formation law expert. It is normal for some competition to spy on each other. How powerful are these two sets of formations? Yang Kai asked hurriedly. Kaihee showed a proud look. Naturally, the power is not small. If you can fully mobilize the power of the formation, even a powerhouse of Void Return Stage 3rd Order will fall into it. After saying that, he continued, unfortunately, I and Cece are not very strong, and can only exert about half of the power. Half of the power. Yang Kai frowned secretly. Kaihee looked at Yang Kai, and said in a low voice, Don't worry, Brother Yang, I still have confidence in these two formations. I dare not say anything more, but slowing down its speed by 20% is absolutely possible. 10% or 2%, it's better than nothing. Yang Kai did not mind. But Brother Yang, even if I and Cece cooperate with each other to slow down its speed, how can we eliminate such a puppet? Yeah, when you tried it before, you didn't hurt it. Du Cece also hurriedly asked. It was important, no one dared to do it carelessly. If they couldn't cooperate at once, all three would have to fall here. Yang Kai smiled slightly. Although I didn't hurt it, at least I verified one thing. What is it? The reason why this puppet can act autonomously without being driven is because there is a wisp of spirit in it. Wisp of spirit? Kaihee and Du Cece whispered. Yes, it can also be said to be the soul. Have you ever observed the puppet when Lian Guang drives it? Yang Kai looked at the two of them with a serious expression. Lian Guang is putting a spirit clone of him on the puppet. This way he can drive those puppets for his own use. Although this puppet looks much more advanced than the Lian Guang ones, the principle should be similar. After all, the puppet is just a dead thing. If you want to act, there will be a similar wisp of spirit. Since this puppet is not driven, it must be sealed with a trace of spirit inside, but I don't know what kind of spirit is the soul. Listening to Yonkai's analysis, Kaihi and Du Cece both suddenly felt the feeling of moving the clouds and seeing the moon. Before they were shocked by the puppet's mighty power, they didn't think about it carefully. Now listening to Yonkai saying it, it immediately felt very reasonable. Brother Yang means, I don't need to destroy this puppet. As long as I find the wisp of spirit and kill it, the puppet will naturally not move. Yangka's eyes flashed a trace of finesse. Kaihi lighted up and clapped. It turns out that this is the case. This move is feasible. Compared with killing such a solid puppet, it is obviously much easier to kill a spirit. Then, do you know where the spirit is? Du Cece interjected and asked. Yangka's face darkened, and he slowly shook his head. I'm not sure yet, but there are a few suspicious places, so I need to use your strength to contain its speed, so that I can have a chance to investigate and explore these places to find out where the spirit is hiding. To be continued.